You are not a human having a spiritual experience. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. There's a moment. Maybe it happens when you're staring at the ceiling or walking somewhere without music, when the question slips in. Why this life? Why these people, this body, this timing? Why the pain? Why the longing? Why the feeling of being lost, even when everything seems fine? And maybe for a second you wonder, did I choose this? And what if the answer is yes? Before you were born, not your name, not your job, not the mask you learned to wear, but before the forgetting, there was a knowing, not logical, not loud, but deep, quiet, still, a knowing that whispered, go. This one will teach you something. You didn't come here to be perfect or powerful. You didn't come to collect achievements or approval. You came to experience, to feel, to remember who you are by first forgetting. And in that forgetting, you picked your pain, not as punishment, but as path. The family you were born into, the challenges you faced early on, the patterns that haunt you, the relationships that cracked you open. None of them are random. Not all were kind, but all were keys. Each one opening a door back to yourself. The soul chooses difficult roads, not because it enjoys suffering, but because it sees beyond it. It knows that growth rarely comes from comfort, and that love, real love, isn't soft music and candles. It's the moment you look at your wounds and say, I see you, you're part of me, but you don't own me. Some souls even make contracts before this life, agreements to cross paths, to trigger something, to mirror something, to help each other grow, even through pain. Yes, even the ones who hurt you. That doesn't mean it was okay, but it means it had meaning, even if that meaning only makes sense later in the silence, when the ache starts to speak. And maybe you're here now, thinking you've made too many mistakes, that you've wasted time, that you've failed your purpose. But what if you've been living it the whole time, without knowing? What if remembering isn't about changing your life, but seeing it with new eyes? You came here knowing you'd forget, knowing you'd doubt, knowing you'd fall in love with illusions, and be asked to let them go. That's part of the design. This world wasn't made to comfort the ego. It was made to reveal what you are without it. Because the soul is never uncomfortable. It doesn't resist. It doesn't panic. It simply watches. It remembers, even when you don't. Sometimes the road makes no sense to the mind. You try to plan, predict, make it linear. But the soul doesn't move in straight lines. It moves in spirals. It repeats until you see. It waits until you stop forcing. It leads through silence. There is no failure on this path, only redirections. What the ego calls wrong turns are often sacred detours. The moments where everything breaks are sometimes the exact moments where the soul breaks through. You were never meant to have it all figured out. That pressure, to be certain, to succeed, to never fall, comes from the ego's fear of surrender. But the soul isn't here to control. It's here to experience, to expand, to return to love, again and again, no matter how lost things seem. Every closed door, every ending, every delay you didn't understand was protection, not punishment. Something higher knew what your ego couldn't see. You don't have to know what's next. You don't have to prove anything. You don't even have to feel ready. You just have to let go of needing to know. That's when the soul moves. That's when clarity finds you, not in your plans, but in your presence. Sometimes the confusion is sacred. The pause is part of the answer. The unknown is the doorway. You didn't come here to be safe. You came here to be real, to meet yourself beneath all the masks, to lose your way and realize you were never lost, to fall apart and see what never breaks. And above all, you came here with a purpose. Not a career, not a role, but a frequency, a way of being. Something only you could express, not through perfection, but through presence. Even now, as you listen, as you wonder whether this message was meant for you, some part of you already knows. It always was. Because you didn't stumble onto this path. You answered a call, long before you had a name, long before the noise, long before the forgetting. Your soul has always known the way. Let it lead.